No, teacher.
No? Easy peasy Japanesey.
Sorry, I didn't catch.
Is that usually
Ah,
a little question? Is it easy peasy
okay.
Japanesey or difficult, difficult?
I think it's difficult.
Difficult?
Mainly the passive voice.
Passive.
Without verb to be.
Okay, so we are having issues with this list, right?
Right.
Okay. That's something that we can review because definitely it is like confusing. Why is not necessary to use the verb to be? Probably the the orientation or the way to attack this topic, the best way to attack this topic is thinking about descriptions, okay? And then using the correct word that matches the description through, actually, I want to investigate something. Let me check. Because the best way to learn this specific topic is through a dictionary of collocations. And Oxford Dictionary has an iPhone app. Let me check if it has collocations, okay? I am checking right now. It has some premium features and it has some expressions, dictionary of English. Oxford Dictionary. So if you go, for example, with the word crazy, which is first you need to think about the description. And then with the description, you can talk about the verbs that go together with it. Go. That's a difficult part to find one. The reason I am insisting on this is because the only one that I found is it has a paywall. So let me show it to you. I'm going to make an account. I promise for tomorrow you have it. Okay? I'm going to give you access to this section, okay? Because
Mm-hmm.
look, if I go through word lists, dictionaries, collocations, here it is. The Oxford Collocations Dictionary. The Oxford Collocations Dictionary shows you which words work together. Precisely the point that I am trying to attack here. The exam that I'm going to give you at the end of this course is first the first certificate. And the first certificate is full of collocations. There's so many. The problem with this one is that this is not free. This one I need to pay it. You know, look at this example. Condition, state of something. Usually goes together with this word. Excellent condition, good condition, immaculate condition, mint condition. The interesting thing about these specific combinations is that these are the combinations that nobody tells you about. For example, we can never say that the word poor goes together with condition, no? Because we associate poor with an economical adjective. We are talking about money, but we are not talking about money. We are talking about a bad condition. Bad condition and poor condition are synonyms. This is an example of word associations. If you see here, you don't have examples. You have words that go together. Original condition. The clock was restored to its original condition. Physical condition. You have really good physical condition. We need to assess the condition of the product. We need to evaluate the condition of the state of his health. I don't know. And prepositions, it is in excellent condition. Do you see how this dictionary works?
Yes, teacher, it's easier to understand better this topic. This tool.
Exactly. This specific topic is much, much better if you study these words. Your glossary should be together, or you should add some examples of words that go together in your glossary. So I promise I give you access to my account tonight. I just didn't have head to open it, but I was really wanting to open it. This is only an example, but Jesus, it's so good, really, really good. That's how you get it.
Perfect. Thank you, teacher.
Mhm. Anyone else? What other topics do you consider difficult for this evaluation? In the case of Jessie, for example, tell me about the difficulties of these topics.
Passive voice, but because I miss it, and after I was watching the video about the class, I think was the first class. But for example, I remember passive voice to the other course, and um maybe it's not the best option, but you can find like a table with the how do you say the change of the verb to be in active voice and passive voice. And for example, all the structure was the same, but in one case it wasn't the same, but I don't remember in which time. A time with the verb is being, something like that, but I don't remember exactly the time.
Are you talking about this one?
Mm-hmm.
The
Yes,
house is being clean?
yes, because yes.
Yeah, right. That's the one.
Mm-hmm.
It happens. It's when if you don't consider the verb be as a verb per se, it's difficult to identify this. But at the end, the verb be is a verb. So you can conjugate the verb be in different times. In
Mm-hmm.
present, in past, and then the ing exists too. I am being, you are being, she is being. And in past, I was being, you were being.
Okay, but the mean gives you the conjugation. Okay.
Mhm.
And after past participle, I am not sure. I need to watch the video too.
Yes, check it and take
Mhm.
your notes. When you have punctual questions about the topics that you didn't
Mhm.
catch, let me know, because I remember that in that particular class, Elsie had a very interesting question. She said, hey, I cannot find this in the structure handbook. And my answer to that was, that's because the structure handbook is in active form. You know, in passive form is a different story. Passive form is all the verbs, all the verb be in the different times, because the natural verb is technically a description. Cleaned, clean, clean. In this case, the word cleaned is a description, not
Not a verb.
not a verb.
Okay.
Is this one.
Okay.
That's the interesting part, right?
Yes.
So precisely that's the difficult part about passive voice is not considering the verb be as the part that gives you the time. So in that previous class precisely, we had this slide. Look, where is it? Ah, it's right here. The verb be exists in present, in past, and then I associated my structures handbook with the correct application. If I am talking about recent past, I'm going to use have and has, and then the verb be in past participle.
Okay.
This is past before past. This is structure number 8. Happening now is instruction number 4. Interrupted actions is structure number 5. And all of them match with my structure, with the handbook. But of course, it's about understanding the topic. If you understand the topic, you can identify the verb to be easily. That's the most important slide for you.
Okay.
My example, let's see, for example, if I say disasters and emergencies, if you talk about disasters and emergencies, we cannot talk in present because present is a routine and disasters don't happen routinarily, right? So usually we speak about disasters in past. What is the verb be in past?
Was.
So we say was destroyed, was flooded, was infected, was rescued. But if we speak about celebrations, we are talking about routines. Verb to be in present for routines
Is
celebrated, is practiced, is spoken.
Okay.
You see?
It's
We can talk
like
about
description, the verb.
yes. All these verbs transform into descriptions.
Okay.
That's why the most important part is the verb. Interesting, right?
Yes.
That's an easier way to see passive voice. Because if we see passive voice as a formula, it's impossible to learn passive voice. It's about this, like transforming the verb into a description. That's
Okay.
you see, easy peasy Japanese. Oh yes. So in order for you to study and for review, for curiosity, I'm going to pass you that link. And today, this week, we're going to talk about the last topic of the month, which is I'm going to teach you how to write some compositions that are needed for your level. Particularly for your level, the compositions needed are not that extensive, but they will require a little bit of, how can I tell you, some expressions that are considered formal and some knowledge, very important, about the difference in Spanish punctuation versus English punctuation. We can consider that commas and periods and colons are very similar in the language, but that's another difficulty. When you are writing an email, when you're writing an essay, or even an article of opinion, commas are very different. So let me show you a little demonstration of writing. I have one of them right here. This one is an example. Number is this, number 100. We have seen 100 slides through the month. Can you imagine? Okay. Look at this. This is sample B2 level article writing. And I want you to observe first the new vocabulary that you will get from it. Number two, how commas work. The first thing that I want you to pay attention to is the commas and some organization. Okay. So let's read the written article first. Help me, Brian. Help me reading the first paragraph. 1, 2, 3, action.
Protecting the environment. One of the things that worries people most nowadays is the environment. In the last few decades, humans decades decade
Yes.
Decade.
in the last few decades, humans have been polluting way too much, which has had a negative effect on the environment.
Again, what are we talking about?
Effect.
Second syllable is strong.
Effect.
Effect, exactly.
Effect.
So I'm saying, what has it?
Yeah. Which has had a negative effect on the environment. For this reason, we must protect it from now on. Now on? No?
That one?
Now?
That's right. That's right. That's right. Okay. So talking about this, as you can see, this particular article is the response to the following exercise. Okay. In this exercise says, write an essay using all the notes and give reasons for your point of view. Here you have some instructions. Every country in the world has problems with pollution and damage to the environment. Do you think these problems can be solved? Write about transport, write about rivers and seas, and write about an idea that you have. So this particular instruction goes directly to paragraph number 1, Brian's paragraph. One of the things that worries people most nowadays is environment. You see, here's the thesis statement, the principal information, and then they start talking about the point. Technically, this is not previously prepared. You need to prepare it at the moment. You need to write it at the moment with the instant ideas. You need to vomit some ideas, and that's it. I am going to check organization, vocabulary, use of language, and in the use of language is included the commas, is included punctuation, is included structures, is included collocations, and finally organization, that it matches. You have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. So as you can see, the organization is perfect. We have an introduction, first, second, finally, and then conclusion, which is easy. Now, the part of the vocabulary is the interesting part. Okay? The part of the vocabulary determines your level. And this is the one I want you to check. Vocabulary. Here we can have some idiomatic expression that I want you to copy. Okay. Observe. Things that we are going to consider for a good writing is the correct conjugation of verbs. Also, the correct, well, that's also a correct conjugation of verb. Have been polluting, ing. Most protected, using modal verbs instead of have to, you know, practice your modal verbs. And here you have an example of a collocation. Everybody take notes on this. From now on. From now on. This is for your glossary. From on. Idiomatic expression. Help me, Elsie. What is from on?
Starting at the time mentioned and continuously after that. From now on, you can work on your own. Never she spoke to him again from that day on.
What do you understand when you hear from that day on?
That it started in some point and in the current time.
It continues in the current time.
Yes.
Watch out, at a specific point, not in.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's a specific time. And that is correct. This combination of from now on is considered a good bonus for your writing because this is considered an idiomatic expression that is not directly from Spanish. You know? Directly from Spanish would be from that moment or from that day, but that is incorrect. Well, it's not incorrect, it's just basic English. A real approach to real conversations is using idiomatic expressions, B2 level idiomatic expressions. Okay, everybody understands from now on?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Let's read the second paragraph. Go, yes.
Yes. First, I am not sure the pronunciation. How to start.
But you pronounced correct the one you were not sure, but the one that you were sure was a different position.
First.
Aha.
First.
It's not first.
First.
Excellent. One more time.
Okay. First we out.
Again.
First.
Look at it again.
First.
First. You are pronouncing here. Here is different.
Okay.
You see? So pronunciation.
First. We out to start paying attention to the 3 R's. Reduce
Again, what's the name of this letter?
R's. S.
That
R,
letter
S.
doesn't exist.
R,
Exactly.
S.
R. Is one R. And 3?
3 R.
Plural?
R's.
So what do we ought to start paying attention to?
To the 3 R's.
Excellent.
Reduce, reuse, and recycle. By doing so, we will reduce the quantity of rubbish. We will not throw away so many things, and we will able to recycle most of our waste.
Okay, we have a lot of words, but we need to check. How do you pronounce this?
I am not sure.
Look at the symbols. Let me help you.
Quantity. Quantity.
Excellent.
Quantity.
Pronunciation?
Quantity.
Quantity. Yes,
Can
you
you
are
repeat
correct.
the
With conviction.
Quantity.
quantity?
Excellent. Quantity. Next.
I am not sure. Eight.
Give me more. The L is an independent sound, eh? Oh.
Eight.
I want to listen the L. I don't listen the O.
I am not sure.
So pronounce it.
Oh.
Okay. But it's not like a L. Eh,
It's not an L in Spanish.
no.
It's English.
Oh.
Mm.
Can you repeat?
Sure.
Oh.
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 Ape. Oh.
Excellent.
Able.
Able.
Together.
Able.
Excellent.
Able.
Able.
Able. Or able.
The two are correct. You said the same.
Able.
Mhm.
Okay. Able.
Next. Similar to trash.
Waste.
Perfect.
Waste.
And finally, this word is a British way to say trash. Pronunciation?
Rubbish.
Rubbish.
Correct.
Rubbish.
So pronounce it again. What happens by doing so? Go, yes.
By doing so.
Mhm.
I think it's like do this.
No. I don't need the definition. I want you to read again.
Okay. First, we ought to start paying attention to the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. By doing so, we will reduce the I don't remember the
Memory.
quantity,
Excellent.
the quantity of rubbish. We
Excellent.
will not throw away so many things, and we will be able to recycle most of our waste.
Beautiful. You see? That's good pronunciation. Very good. So here we go. Another one. By doing so. An expression that mostly we never use because this is not similar to Spanish. I suggest you copy this to your glossary. By doing so. This expression is used to explain more. In doing so, while doing so, by doing so means because I did so. Or because of this. This is a good synonym. Because of this. Indicates a future consequence. Copy that. By doing so is an expression that indicates a future consequence. Synonym, because of this. Everybody's copying?
Yes.
Cool. The word ought to is a modal verb. This is in the structure number 7 in the handbook, and it's similar to should, only that it's a formal way to say should. So first we ought to start paying attention to. This is similar to say first we should start paying attention to. It's a recommendation. It's a formal recommendation. This is in your structures handbook. Formula number 7. Right here. Okay. Next, the word throw away is a phrasal verb. The more phrasal verbs you use, the better. In this moment, we haven't seen B2 phrasal verbs. I will give you a strategy later, but that's not going to be the first intention right now. Okay. Anyway, they are very useful. And vocabulary. We have different synonyms of trash. We have the word waste. So you don't repeat the words constantly. And we have the word rubbish, which is a British way to say trash. A British synonym. Questions? Oh, teacher, no questions. Okay, perfect.
No, thank you.
Okay. Awesome. So let's go to the next. Okay. Help me, Carla. Second.
Yes. Second, a very good idea is to stop using cars so much and start cycling or walking a little more. For example, instead of commuting by car, we can try to do it on foot or by bike.
Perfect. Here you have an example of words that work together. The collocations dictionary, precisely. It's different to say on foot than if you think in Spanish, it's probably that we write in foot or by foot if we are more familiar with English. According to the collocations, the correct word is on. If you are talking about transportation methods, you don't say on, you say by bike, by car, by bus, etc. So it's important to know what words relate to others. Now, here we have another example of B2 structures. This is to stop. This is a structure that we are going to see in the next month. And is when you have the connector to after the verb to be. There are some specific formulas that have very specific applications, but if you want to give it a look, you have it already in your Searcher's Handbook in this specific slide. Here, you will see some applications of the connector to with other verbs. For example, when you have an adjective or a verb to be, to, and then another verb. Adjective for person, to do something. Adjective of person, to, and then a verb. You can find all these new structures over here. After passive voice, of course. In this moment, our structures is passive voice. And finally, we have other vocabulary that I want you to check. But let's give a moment because Jessie is in the chat. Hello, Jessie. Are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Hi.
Okay. Good
Go.
night. So I will tell him. Is he Jesse? Hi, Jesse. Good night.
Hi.
Thank you. Brian?
Hi.
Brian.
Night.
Good night. Elsie? Hi,
Hello.
Elsie. Good night.
Good night.
And Dennis. Hi, Dennis.
Hello, Jessie.
Hi. So that's all. Thank you, everyone, and have a nice night.
Thank you very much, girl.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Perfect. So here you have, right? Expressions. Help me with the last two paragraphs. Brian.
Finally, if we really want to change things, we should teach you young pupils. Pupils?
The first
Pupils?
pronunciation was right. Yeah.
We should teach young pupils about the dangers of contamination and pollution. It's the only way to change the future because they are the future citizens of the world. In conclusion, I believe that if we do these three things, we can still prevent humans from destroying the environment.
Perfect. Probably we have some new words like pupils, no? That looks like Spanish, but pronunciation is in English and it's very different. It exists. So that's the point of the glossary, no? To find words that are a little bit more of our level. But together with words that are of our level, we should also take into consideration these combinations. The ones that you have at the beginning of the course. These ones are very similar to Look. When we were talking about collocations, we had this exercise at the beginning. Here. Instead of using depends of, it was necessary to say depends on. Instead of saying listen music, it's better to use listen to music, right? So these pairs of words are very taken into consideration in your writing. In this case, we have the collocation prevent person from doing. Prevent person from ing. That's the correct combination of words. So now the devil is in the details. Technically, the first 4 things that we take into consideration for a good writing, and this is very similar to speaking, is your structures, the correct vocabulary and collocations, the correct usage of phrases in the writing process, which is the correct conjugation of verbs, correct auxiliaries, verbs in present, etc. And most importantly for the writing, position of commas. I'm going to give you a screenshot of this article. And I want you to check if you are thinking in Spanish, if the commas would go in the same position. So I'm going to pass it to you through WhatsApp. Will you write commas in the same position as put in this article? Inspect it, check it, tell me the difference between Spanish and English, and tomorrow I give you the rules. Okay? By now, do you have any question in the topics that we are going to check?
No, teacher.
That's a no. Okay, which are the topics for the exam, for the evaluation?
Passive voice,
Passive voice,
collocations,
collocations. Which collocations in particular?
mm,
That one is hard.
with
Yes.
with the list, no, that you share us,
Yes.
and how can use together with them.
This list is called linking verbs. Okay. The list, the specific list is the list of linking verbs, collocations with linking verbs, but also collocations that we have seen, like these ones, with verbs catch, make, spend, pay, have, and go, and with prepositions. And for now, those are all the topics. We have enough things to do. So let me open the account so everybody can access to the collocations dictionary, and you can supplement your glossary even further. Okay. For now, we finished.
Thank you, teacher.
Have a good night. See you, everybody.
Good night,
Thank you, teacher. Thank you.
Bye. Good night.
Good night. Bye-bye.